Tuesday, April 16th, counting down the days. I created a countdown calendar, which I'm going to pan to now because I'm not exactly sure how to flip my camera and record at the same time. I've always been technology challenged. And there it is. This being surgery day. Yay. So I thought I'd get everybody an update. I went to see the nutritionist yesterday at Integrative Acupuncture and met with her. It was quite positive, no judgment zone. And together we came up with an action plan, her game plan. And I thought I'd share a little bit more about that. In trying to deal with the fibroids, whether or not you're going to have surgery as a myomectomy or hysterectomy, always good to kind of prepare yourself physically, mentally, emotionally. And today I'm going to be talking a little bit more about nutrition, which will probably be a recurring theme. Met with Angela yesterday, really nice gal. And to kind of give you a little bit of background is before I met with Angela back in late February, early March, I had a diagnostic test. It was blood and urine, and it kind of measures the way you metabolize, use energy. You can also see the things that you're sensitive to, as well as toxicity in your body. And so it kind of gives that platform of where we're starting from. So everything that I'm going to be talking about today was specially customized for me. And I'm not recommending this for anyone else. What I am recommending is that I found it very, very helpful to find a functional medicine doctor, Dr. Harmony Brown. And in her office, she has nutritionists, as well as acupunctional therapists, massage therapists. So it's a whole lifestyle plan. So please, what I am taking, I am not recommending to anybody else. What I am recommending is that you find somebody to support you and to find out what it is that your body needs, your mind needs, and you kind of create that own path. But I'm just going to be discussing a little bit about what I found. So I'm going to pan down quickly so you can see what I was talking about as far as the test, kind of highlighted out or covered up the confidential information. So it kind of looks like this. And so from that, I met with the nutritionist yesterday, and I had known this because Dr. Brown, Harmony Brown, told me that and everything she looked at, I was extremely B deficient, all Bs. I had a higher amount of yeast in my system and a couple other things which helped us direct as far as what I should be eating, how much I should be taking in as far as water and those kind of things. Today is pretty much nutrition focused. I bring a little bit more of exercise, relaxation, routine balance, meaning that how we spend our time with work, family and friends, sleep, but also to just balance in our own lifestyle. It's so tricky. Today's so busy, so technology orientated, but also to reflection. And all these are kind of really important. So to get back with Angela, made notes here so I wouldn't forget. We talked about water. I love to drink water. I probably have developed a habit of drinking way too much water if that's possible. And all that achieves is that the electrolytes in my body are being flushed out, and we need to retain some of those electrolytes. So I'm going to be pulling back on the water, looking at about 75 ounces daily. And then also to how much and when I'm eating and what I'm eating. There are periods of time where I feel quite nauseous, so I always call it strike while the iron's hot. And when I'm hungry, I do eat. So I make sure when I want to eat, it is all the types of food that will provide me great nourishment, one of which being leafy greens. Another great thing to do is bone broth. I'll be honest, I'm kind of burnt out on it. I'm not totally eliminating it, but I'm going to bring a little bit of that in there. And then also, too, she provided me a recipe for a special kind of soup, maybe one of my little video diary journals. I will be making this soup, we'll see, or at least show the after of that. And to consider doing bitters prior to me eating, which I guess settles the stomach. I always thought of bitters are the things, we used to own a restaurant with a bar, and we used to put them in certain types of drinks. That will work too, but I think I'm going to pick the ones up at Whole Foods. And to try to get more protein in my diet, I do a lot of plant-based foods, and I have a tendency not to eat a lot of protein. I'm trying to get much better on that, primarily because for the surgery, the uterus is a muscle, but all my other muscles are going to need that protein. And I want to really load up on that before I go in. And to really consider things like apples and pears and berries, adding those into my diet. Right now I'm stopping all other supplements that I was taking, and I'm just going with what Harmony and Angela suggested that I do before surgery. And again, because my body was depleted from having the shingles, a run of C. diff, and then as a result getting the internal shingles, I lost a lot of weight, but not in the kind of way that you need to lose weight. So, I mean that I probably lost some muscle. So, what I'm trying to do is, I guess, really super load my body, because 10 days before my surgery, I'm going to have to discontinue all types of supplements and herbs, especially the Bs, anything that thins the blood, because, surgery and losing blood is not a good thing. So, we're going to try to super load me now. In addition, every week I'm getting a B12 shot, and I see Harmony for that, and I do still do my acupuncture. And I'm going to kind of describe some of the things that I'm doing. So when I get up in the morning, I like to do my walk. Usually try to do a little bit of meditation. And I also try to immediately go ahead and prepare my breakfast, always integrating some protein, leafy greens. If I do carbs, to make sure that they're married or paired with some sort of good protein. And so in the morning, I'm taking what is called the Pure Ultra B Complex with PQQ. I'm not exactly sure what that is. And then also, too, in the morning, I'm doing the, which one is it? Here it is. The D3 and the 5,000 units of K. Prior to eating, to get my body more balanced, because I mentioned I was dealing with the C. diff, so all my good flora bacteria was washed out, need to kind of build that back up, especially right after surgery. So they put me on this as well. So I'm supposed to do this 20 minutes before I have breakfast, which I'm usually pretty bad at remembering, so I got to set my watch or something. That's pretty easy. I'm not great at remembering all these things. Then around snack time is usually I go a little bit lighter. They gave me a shake to take. It's called Axis Endo, and it really supports the hormone metabolism in women. And I need to flush out some of that extra estrogen that's in my body that was making the fibroid grow really, really big. And not that I think it's going to shrink the fibroid, though that would be a nice positive. But at very least, to make sure this fibroid does not grow any larger before I have surgery. And also kind of help with the extra flood of estrogen in the body, which I believe also makes you feel extremely ill and makes you bloated and has a lot of negative effects. I do think it causes headaches too, quite honestly. So I take the shake right here, and she has me adding 16 drops. That's according to my body weight, by the way, of the liquid A. So I put that in there. And then because she wants to make sure that I get a lot of omegas in there, those are the good oils, that helps everything kind of convert. I'm taking this. And then also to dim detox. I have to be honest, I'm not exactly sure what this does. I have to look this one up. So those are the things I'm pretty much taking. It was interesting meeting with Angela. I had never had this done before. She kind of hooked me up one side of my body and can kind of tell your BMI weight or BMI percentage. And, she can look at the amount of water. That's how she knew. She kind of did those things. Still kind of figuring that out. But that was really good. Occasionally I do take bread, and I have to watch out for the yeast. I definitely try to stay away from the sugars. So she recommended a bread from Whole Foods called Zach's bread. And it's a sourdough, and it's a sort of naturally occurring yeast. It's something I can handle, but because the yeast and the breads have tendency to build estrogen, I'm going to do that extremely in moderation and probably just keep it in the freezer and just do it occasionally. Not a big bread eater these days. I used to when I was younger, but occasionally it's nice to have like a veggie sandwich and spread some things on there. She also spoke about getting some nuts in my diet, so I went out and bought some almond butter, and I'm trying to spread that on my veggies. I also kind of mix it with oil or vinegar. It makes a great topping for salads. Interesting enough, I can handle salads and greens. This is a new development. I wasn't able to do that until about a month ago, so I'm really enjoying getting back to my fresh, crunchy greens. Olives is another great addition, but also too we spoke about marinated foods, and interesting enough, my stomach can take it, and I think that's just my heritage. Is I grew up in a family we had a lot of marinated foods, and so I do sauerkrauts, and I just recently found some marinated cauliflower. Those are really good, and I've been doing that. Uh, Other than that, I'm trying to think. That's pretty much the highlights of what we went over. Is just to kind of decrease that estrogen before surgery, kind of help build my muscle, build my stamina, definitely increase the load of the B's in my body. I'm extremely deficient in those. Obviously, add in the D's and the K's according to the supplement she gave me. And to make sure I'm eating regularly, I try to eat and make sure there's at least 2 hours or 4 hours, preferably, by my last time that I eat at night and the time I go to sleep. She was explaining about the cycles. That's clearly not my forte. Maybe I'll get her on camera talking about that one time. But there's times when the body wants to convert energy and then it's detoxifying and it's all about the liver. So those are the things I kind of learned from Angela yesterday. And tomorrow or the next day, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about exercise. And that's something that I'm quite comfortable with and feel great about, but also too about relaxation and then getting into routine and balance, and then as well as reflection. So I hope you found something here interesting or a takeaway. The biggest thing is to find a support system. I am not a nutritionist. I do not pretend to even know what Angela knows or Harmony Brown know. And so that's great to have that kind of backup preparing me for surgery, because I'm a little bit older now. I don't bounce back as quickly as I used to, obviously. And I want to make sure that everything I do prior to the surgery is supporting a good outcome, but also to knowing what to do afterwards for a nice, speedy, healthy recovery. That's pretty much about it. So, anyways, Kat again. Thanks for listening.